Hi everyone, welcome back to Susan Dawn at Spiritual Connections. Welcome to a brand new Sacred Union Energy update. We have a full moon in Capricorn coming up this weekend, so I want to do a check-in and see what's going on with the energies when it comes to Divine Masculine, Divine Feminine, Sacred Union, etc. We're going to do a little bit of a deeper dive today. But I did just post on my Spiritual Connections newsletter a full moon forecast. This full moon in Capricorn is the second full moon in Capricorn in a month. So we've had a full lunar cycle last month, June 21st. We had a full moon in Capricorn as well. The full moon forecast that I talked about, the link is in the description box if you want to read it. All you have to do is just sign up for the newsletter. Everything is free, and I'll be doing more energy updates there as well. But we talked about how Capricorn is the sign of the sea goat. It is the bridge between the spiritual and the material realms. And this is really calling for us to be grounded, to stay grounded, especially because there's so much that is happening astrologically that is really picking up on the energetic happening. So if you look at this in our physical world, if you see what's happening in global current events, for example, in society, in cultures, in the political realm as well. There seems to be a lot of division. There seems to be a lot of chaos. There seems to be just a lot of upheaval. But remember what Kali Ma has taught us. She has taught us that from the destruction comes the creation, and that there has to be the crumbling of the old foundations in order for the new to take way. And our job, being aware of this ascension journey, being aware of where we are, is to stay grounded and hold that space and hold that light, both for ourselves individually, for our loved ones in our inner circles, and for the world as a collective. Now, you might be feeling, even if you're feeling peaceful, even if you're feeling grounded, even if you're feeling very balanced within, all this cosmic energy that's kind of ramping up, all this intensity that's ramping up, might leave you feeling a little bit wibbly wobbly. And that's why it's really important to stay grounded at this time. I go further into that in the forecast. You can go ahead and read that in the description box. But what I want to do today is just kind of tune into the masculine and the feminine energies. And you can take this as it applies, as always, for your counterpart connection, for those who are on the Sacred Union path of ascension, for your inner masculine and inner feminine energies, or for the collective as a whole, because as we're going through this journey individually, we're also seeing that play out collectively. So depending on where you are in your journey, this full moon cycle, we have the Sirius Gateway that we just walked through in the beginning of July. We have the Lionsgate corridor that we're walking through. The doorway is opening, that gateway is opening towards the end of July, which is next week. So peaking at the Lionsgate on August 8th. We also have the Mars-Uranus conjunction that just passed, which really heightened some energy, really created some intense emotions, intense energy, and some pushing. I don't know if I want to use that word, but a real push for shifts. I'm also hearing a push for action. So some of you might have actually seen a push for action. That doesn't necessarily mean anything negative. It's just a push to evolve, a push to grow, a push to elevate yourself, a push for that change and that transformation. It's almost like that time of the resistance where you were in resistance. That's what's coming to a close. There's a lot of closures that's happening, a lot of wrapping up of old cycles. So just pay attention of what you might be feeling and experiencing energetically and in your physical world, because that might indicate to you where you are, and that will also indicate to you the guidance going forward to maintain that balance and to really keep claiming your peace and that power and your divinity and your creative power, your ability to manifest, your ability to create your life. So again, we went a little bit into that in the forecast, but and the ascension energy update that we just did, crossing timelines. Make sure that you're checking that out as well. I'll put links of interest in the description box. And I think we're going to do a couple of more ascension energy updates over this Lionsgate period, because it does feel like there is ascension energy as a whole that is ramping up. You can apply it to your sacred union as well, But remember, it's a sacred union path of ascension. Ascension is the purpose, ascension is the journey. It's just sacred union is a path on that journey where you're catalyzed with your counterpart. So I do have a new online workshop that is going to be a live event on August 4th. We're going to be connecting with Lyran energy, which we've done in the past. Meditation or light language. We'll be doing some channeling. And we'll be just kind of gathering in a group and really shifting timelines, really connecting with those light codes and those higher timelines. So you can register for that. There is a replay available if you can't attend the live event. I also will put that together as a package, but if you register now, it'll be a discount. Versus getting the package later, and you'll have access to both the replay if you register for the live event and the replay package. Okay, so let's see what's going on for counterparts. We're going to tune into the sacred union energy and see what's really going on. It feels almost like the focus is not on sacred unions, for at least for the collective, the segment of the collective that I'm picking up on now. It feels like there is a lot of ascension focus right now, which is why I keep getting called to do ascension energy updates or to focus on the ascension. It's because, again, think of it like this. Your sacred union is part of your ascension. And if you're ignoring your ascension journey just to focus on your counterpart or just to focus on the union, then you're missing the purpose of the whole journey, of the whole experience. The union is not the destination. The union is part of the experience of your ascension. It's part of your evolution. My book, The Unity Code, our tagline for that, it's been a tagline for us for our YouTube channel for many years now, is your sacred union is the story of your evolution. It is part of your evolution. You are your union. And so there's this energy that's coming through that feels very emphatic of I feel like rather than making your union as the end goal or the destination or the purpose, there's a belief that needs to be shifted. There is an element to the perspective around the journey that needs to be cleared and shifted and transformed. And I feel like if you're resonating with this already, or if you're resonating with this timeless reading, then it will click. And I feel like a lot of that old energy where you might have been attached to the sacred union, you might have been attached to the counterpart, you might have been attached to that, what I call the twin flame matrix, that's going to begin clearing with this Lionsgate energy, with this full moon energy. That's the process that you've been going through, and because it's going to be clearing, you're going to be moving into higher timelines. And what do those higher timelines mean? We channeled that in a reading as well. It was, this is what the next level of your journey is going to look like. And we've been talking about that for the past year. So if you feel like you are beginning to detach from that twin flame matrix, you still connect with twin flame and still connect with twin flame energy. You can still call your partner your twin flame, but you're releasing that energetic hold. You're stepping off that loop. You're getting out of that consciousness trap, that consciousness loop. We've been channeling that, like I said, for the past couple of years. But really, if you're connecting with this energy, then the readings from late 2023 into 2024 is really going to resonate with you at this time. All of my readings are meant to be timeless, and I have a whole bunch of resources available in our Ascension Connections portal on my website for your journey to union, for your ascension. That really looks at it from that higher level perspective, getting out of that consciousness loop so that you can, like as I say in my book, you can rewrite that twin flame template. You're not trapped in the suffering and the pain anymore, because your journey is not meant to be suffering and pain. Your journey is meant to be joyful and peaceful and loving. That is what your ascension is all about. It's bringing you home to those aspects of yourself and healing that suffering and healing that pain. And I get it. I have been on that journey myself where I was trapped in that pain and I was trapped in that confusion and that suffering, and I went off this ride. But the more that you allow your perspective around the journey to shift, the more that you bring that focus back to yourself and back to that present moment, rather than reaching for something outside of yourself, rather than reaching for something that is far ahead, the more that you anchor into not only the here and the now, but the more that you embody everything that you have learned on your journey, which includes the harmonization of the polarities of your masculine and your feminine energy, which is inner union. The more you anchor that in and embody that, the more everything in your life changes. And the more you elevate, the more you evolve, and the more your physical life actually reflects that. It might reflect it in subtle changes along the way, in stepping stones, in little small unfoldings, but it is changing and transforming nonetheless, where you might be receiving more. There might be more abundance, where you're receiving more gifts, you're receiving more financial stability, more opportunities from the universe. And all that is what I'm hearing is alignment. You are aligning to your soul's light, to your soul's path. And that alignment is what is actually going to guide you in your healthy conscious connection with a counterpart. Okay, so we have a ton of resources. If these readings connect with you, my job is really to help you guys, and I create these resources to be a benefit to you. So I have the book, I have the workshops, I have programs, I've packaged everything so it's very easy to find. Or we have hundreds and hundreds of readings and channelings here across my 2 YouTube channels. So I really encourage you guys to make sure that you are checking that out as well. Okay, so let's go and see what is going on right now, currently, for the Divine Masculine. What is the Divine Masculine going through? There's a Hermit energy that's coming through for the Divine Masculine, but it's very contemplative, and that is Hermit energy. It feels like they've kind of withdrawn and gone into their cave, but there's a contemplation that's going on. And for the past couple of months, we've really been, 6 months is what they just said, we've really been picking up on this illumination. There's an awakening, an awareness that's happening for the Divine Masculine, where they are looking at their life differently, where they've been in their life leading up to this point where they are now, and where they want to go, how they view this connection in the past that was from a distorted lens, and how they're beginning to see it for the divine connection that it is. And I'm hearing the word alchemy, so it feels like they are alchemizing any of the distortion, but it feels like they're doing this in a sense of hermit mode. There's a lot of thinking going on, but it's not the ego that's thinking. It's almost like what's happening is we've channeled that their intuition has come online. Even if they were intuitive before, this is a new level of embodying and entrusting that intuition, where they were too much in their ego, too much focused on the logical and the physical. Now they're really beginning to trust in what they are feeling. Rather than letting those emotions overwhelm them, they're letting themselves trust in what it is that they are feeling, and intuiting and connecting with higher power, connecting even with their higher selves. They might not have the conscious words for what is being experienced. I'm hearing that they are going to be experiencing it in a little bit of a different way than your ascension activation was, your awakening was, but it is going to be the same the same result, which is that awareness, that embodiment of that higher connection to themselves, which is going to enable a higher connection with you, especially over the next 2 to 3 weeks with this Lionsgate energy. Increase in telepathy, increase in dream state activations. You might be experiencing each other in dreams, so pay attention to those dreams. Not so much what is being experienced in the dreams as far as like the story that's playing out, but what is being felt. Pay attention to the energy beyond the words in the dreams or beyond the actions in the dreams. Pay attention to how it feels. And that's also an indication of what we should be doing in our everyday life, right? We have physical circumstances and situations that play out, but there's always an energetic undercurrent. And so rather than looking at things from just the face value of it, from, oh, but this is what's happening physically in my physical world, there's always something underneath the surface. That's what our ascension journey really shows us, what our ascension journey really teaches us. Teaches us to have that higher soul's perspective, to look at it from all vantage points, not just the face value of, but this is happening. Well, there's always something happening underneath the surface too. There's always a purpose, there's always a reason, there's always an unfolding. So allowing yourself to understand that within dream state and in your physical life. But I do feel like there's going to be an increase in telepathy between twins, dreams activating between twins. You might have more active gifts. So you might have more music downloads, audio downloads, visuals, that kind of thing, feeling their energy, feeling their emotions. This is not for you to attach to their energy or to their emotions. If it feels draining to you, keep releasing that energy. You don't have to take on anything of your counterpart, right? Your job is to maintain your highest truth. Your job is to maintain your highest energy, your highest frequency. Um, so your gifts might be heightened. There might also be communication. Do not attach to that. Do not have that expectation. Just be aware of it if that communication comes in, so that you can remain grounded, so that you can remain centered, and check out the reunion and reconciliation channeling that we did if communication is new, if you haven't been in communication in a while, to help you have tips to stay grounded, and to not get pulled into old cycles there, because cycles are ending. This is something new that is being created here, is what I'm hearing. So I'll put a bunch of resources and a bunch of links in the description box. Make sure that you're checking those out to really get the most out of this gateway, to get the most out of your journey. Um, so, divine masculines, I feel like it doesn't feel like a heavy energy. It doesn't even feel, it might be a little bit intense. You might be feeling that if you're a divine feminine, you might be feeling that within your own inner masculine. It feels a little bit intense, but it doesn't feel heavy or draining. It doesn't feel tower momenty. It just feels, I want to say like it feels like there's a lot, but I don't even feel like that's the quite the right way to describe it. It just feels um like their feels, like they're feeling. Didn't we have that as a reading a couple of days ago? Deep in the feels. That's what this energy feels like. It feels like um, it doesn't feel overwhelmed though. It doesn't feel like a flood of emotions. They don't know how to deal with it. This feels like a maturing. It feels like a maturing for the divine masculine. And because they're maturing, it feels like they are looking at their life differently, looking at where they want to be, where they want to go differently, who they want to be differently, looking at their connection differently. If you have been through toxic cycles with your connection, difficult cycles with your connection, they are holding themselves accountable, holding themselves responsible where it needs to be. And they are um, looking at you differently than they have been in the past. They might have been looking at you through that distorted lens, but now there's a lot of there's this recognition, this realization that's coming through. There's a great healing aspect that is happening here. Tell me more about the divine masculine. What's going on for the divine masculine? What's going on for the divine masculine? What's the current energy with this full moon for the divine masculine? Yeah, a lot of illumination, a lot of clarity, and also, as we were channeling, a lot of connection with themselves. They're deepening that connection to themselves, learning how to trust themselves, learning how to connect with themselves, understand themselves, learning how to really honor themselves in a way they never have. This was a masculine that was very much in their ego. Ego is not a bad thing. We all have ego. As we go through our awakening, as we go through our ascension, we learn how to quiet the ego, to learn how to listen to our soul, so that soul speaks louder, so that we're connected more to our higher selves versus the ego. Ego is that protective mechanism, that survival mechanism. So ego is not something that is meant to be to not to be judged, not to be criticized, not to be, it's not like this horrible evil thing. We all have ego as humans. It's what we identify with, how we identify. But again, through our ascension journey, through our awakening journey, we learn to almost like dissolve the ego so that our soul speaks louder. We know that we're more than the ego, and we begin to embody the soul versus the ego. That's the difference. the ego takes a step back so that soul, your soul, who you truly are, can take a step forward. And that's what's happening for the divine masculine. Again, this was a masculine that was very much in their ego, that was very much in their pride, that was very much in their focus on material, whether that was finances or material goods or distorted relationships. They're connecting with their spiritual center. They might not have spiritual language associated with it, but it is a very spiritual kind of energy. They're connecting with their inner truth. And that's part of that hermit energy as well, they're showing me. That North Star, you know how in the tarot, the hermit is holding the lantern with a star? It's their inner guidance, that North Star. They're connecting with their higher selves. They're connecting with God's source, higher power. They're connecting with themselves, their true self. And that is something that they have always hid away from out of shame, out of guilt, out of pain, survival mechanism. That energy is really beginning to clear. All that energy, that lack of worth, that lack of value, that lack energy is really beginning to clear. There's a lot of shame around how they were, who they were, how they treated the feminine, how they treated this connection. There's a lot of shame that's coming up to the surface right now that they are clearing. All right, let me see if I can actually get a card. Otherwise, we just make this a channeling. I don't know. I might change the way I do some things if this kind of stuff keeps happening. But let's see what happens if I can pull actually any cards. Divine masculine. What's going on for the divine masculine? The masculine card just came out. Yeah, he's becoming the divine masculine. Now, what's interesting, we've absolutely channeled this. Look at the two children in the back holding hands, the masculine and the feminine. That's really what this feels like feeling into the connection. Now, we've definitely channeled the rise of the divine masculine over the years. And remember that this is a process, that you go up a level and then you kind of, I don't want to say you fall back or you regress, because you never regress, you never fall back, but it's almost like there's cycles, there's layers. So it's like you go up and then you have to, do you know how they have those graphs that says that like healing is non-linear? Well, it's true. It's phases, it's cycles, it's the inner spiral. You go deeper and deeper and deeper. So the masculine rises and understands a certain aspects of themselves or certain aspects of their journey. And then they'll go through more tower moments, or they'll go through more upheavals, or they'll go through more ego deaths or dark nights of the soul, and it'll be a deeper level of awakening. Because you don't just go through one awakening, it's a process. It's multiple, many. It's an evolutionary process. And so you go deeper and deeper into the ascension. That's what's happening here. They're rising into the divine masculine. Now it's about embodying that. They know what it takes in their conscious awareness. They know what it takes to be a divine masculine. They might not have the words divine masculine, but for our purposes here, they know what it takes to be the person they want to be the person that you need them to be that match, to be that counterpart, to be everything that they want in that next phase of their life. And knowing that where they were is not what they want. What they created is not actually what they wanted, but they were stuck, or they were holding themselves back, or they were just repeating cycles and not knowing how to break free. Well, breaking free was a process, going deeper and deeper into that inner spiral to keep growing, to keep evolving, to keep understanding, to keep awakening. And so now it's like they're moving into energy of the rising of the divine masculine again, but now it's about the embodiment. Now it's about the embodiment, to anchor that in, to integrate that, to become it. So through this journey, they'll have awareness of what is a divine masculine, or what is a conscious masculine, or what is a sacred masculine, or who is it, and they might not use those words, but who is it that I want to be? What is it that I want in my life? What is it that I want to create? What is healthy? What is conscious? And they might not necessarily know how to hold that, how to sustain that, because they haven't healed all of it. They haven't gone into their shadow work or deep enough in their shadow work. Remember, it's a process. It's a constant process. Even myself, even you as a divine feminine, you're going to continue to grow and continue to heal. Um, and, as much healing as I had done on my journey consciously through energy healings and journalings and inner work like that, like shadow work and things like that, working the past 6 months with my somatic chiropractor is helping me on a new level. And not only that, but also, I have a bunch of people in my corner that I'm working with to really anchor in this new level of embodiment, this next level of embodiment. The masculine is beginning that phase, beginning that next level of embodiment. So they have that awareness of, this is what I want to be, this is who I am, this is healing that I've been going through. But it's not enough to just talk the talk. It's not enough to just go through the healing and say, oh, I'm healed now. Well, no, you have to embody that healing. It's about, who are you in everyday life, not who are you when you're on your own in the cave, not who are you when you're in your sanctuary praying or doing tarot readings or meditating. It's who are you in conflict? Who are you when you are out in the world? Who are you when you're in conversation or connecting with other people? Are you holding that compassion? Are you holding that love? Are you holding that energy of peace? Are you able to hold that container, that safety, that presence? And that's what the divine masculine is beginning to understand now, that it's more than just the conscious awareness, more than just the decision. It's about becoming the masculine. That's what's happening here. The masculine is beginning that inner union phase of embodiment, anchoring in to become the divine masculine, not just rising as the divine masculine, but becoming the divine masculine. And this is going to be a process. We're going to see more shift over the next 6 months, which is what this Lionsgate Gateway portal is going to be opening up the next 6 months. Real embodiment, holding that container of safety and presence and that leadership energy. And what is leadership? Leadership is just your own inner authority, trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, taking that guided action, not holding yourself back. So there's a becoming that's happening here. We'll be talking more about that in future readings as well, because this is just the beginning. Wow, okay. Divine Feminines, what's going on with you? Let's tune into the Divine Feminines for a second. Divine Feminines, you are better than you think you are, is immediately what I just heard. You are doing better than you think you are. So this is for the Divine Feminines who might feel a little bit shaken up, who might feel a little bit wibbly wobbly, who might feel like, what the hell's going on in my journey? You are where you need to be, and you're doing a lot better than you think that you are. Don't let the physical evidence sway you from where you know you are. Don't let the physical world shake you up from anchoring in and embodying that your inner masculine essentially is what it is, which is that container within yourself, that presence within yourself, that knowing within yourself. Don't let the world shake you up. Divine Feminines, if you're resonating with this, you have reached your inner union, which means you have harmonized those polarities, balanced those polarities, your masculine and your feminine. Maintain that union within yourself. Maintain that presence and that balance within yourself. Don't let the world shake you up. Don't let, especially your connection, shake you up. What is or isn't happening. Don't attach yourself to what is or isn't happening. Keep connected to yourself. That's the most important thing that you can do. And what I'm hearing is because you are holding the light. You are holding the light, not just for your divine masculine. You don't have to do anything to hold the light for your masculine. You just have to be who you are. And that's why we've been hammering home, focus on yourself, focus on yourself. Keep on your path. Don't worry about what your masculine is doing. Just keep in your energy of joy and light and love and peace, and it doesn't mean that shitty things aren't going to happen in your life. Shitty things are going to happen. But if you notice, because it's human. We are living in a very human experience where collectively there's a lot of chaos that's happening right now that is going to shake us up. And we don't bypass anything. We don't ignore anything. But if you notice, you're able to transmute it much more easily. you're not sitting in that energy. It's not affecting you like it might have. You're not sitting in that energy for days and weeks at a time. You might feel it, you move through your emotions, you observe it, you witness yourself, and you allow yourself to come back to your new normal, which is that peace and which is your joy. And let me say one more thing here, because they're guiding me to, you do not have to feel ashamed of feeling peace and feeling joy. Even if other people are suffering around you, you have the capability of holding space for all. It doesn't have to be either or. You don't have to sit in the darkness with people. You don't have to sit in their suffering with them. You can hold compassion. You can hold that space for them. You can sit with them, but you don't have to succumb to it with them. That was a big lesson for me with Lyme disease that I learned. Talking with Lyme patients and having been in that situation myself for so long, I would talk with Lyme patients and it would just overwhelm me to the point where what could I do? What could I do but just kind of succumb to that? And it would pull on my energy and it would drain me, and I would be useless to anybody because I would just be taking that on myself. And over the course of my ascension, I learned that I can have that compassion and hold that space and hold that love, and that is what is helpful to other people. Not wallowing it, not becoming a victim with them, but helping them out of that darkness too, by being that light, by showing them how. um I've spoken about this on my channel before. My favorite scene from The West Wing is when two characters, Josh and Leo, are talking, and Josh has been through some traumatic stuff, and Leo, his superior, is saying um a parable. And the parable, I'm going to get it wrong because I'm channeling right now and I never remember things exactly as I'm channeling, but the parable is this. There's a guy who is walking along a sidewalk and he falls into a hole, and he's calling out and he's saying, hey, hey, help me, can you help me? And a guy walks by and he's like saying, hey, can you help me? And a priest, writes a prayer and throws it down into the hole. And another guy walks by and says, hey, 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 can you help me? And he walks by and I can't remember exactly what happens, and he's like, I'm sorry, I can't help you, I tried but I can't. And then sees a friend walking by and he says, hey, buddy, can you help me? I'm down here. I'm stuck. I don't know how to get out. And the guy jumps down with him and he says, what, are you crazy? No, we're both here. And the guy says, yeah, but I've been here before and I know the way out. That's the thing about holding space and holding the light is you can sit with them because you know what it's like. We know what it's like on this journey. But you're not solving it for them. You're not responsible for them. You're just being that guide. You're just being that friend. You're being that support, that energetic support. But it's not about saving other people. It's supporting them, holding that space, loving them, holding that compassion, holding that empathy. But you are allowing them their journey too. And so bringing this back to the divine masculine, we've talked over the past 2 years about how it's important for them to go on their own journey too, for you to believe in them and trust in them to be on their journey, to be the masculine that you need them to be, that you want them to be. So rather than checking in all the time, what's my masculine going? What's he going through? Is he healing? Is he doing this? Is he doing that? Where are you lacking that trust in yourself, in your masculine, in your own journey? Where are you so focused on your counterpart that you are not allowing yourself to feel that joy, feel that peace? Are you afraid that if you feel that joy and if you feel that peace, that you're going to forget your masculine, or your masculine is going to forget you? Those are pieces of separation. Those are abandonment, rejection, neglect wounds, right? And that all comes down to separation. So keep working through that. And again, I have a whole bunch of resources. Feel free to email me and I'll guide you to the ones that I think would be most helpful. But we've been talking about this for years now. Keep focusing on your journey, and your frequency is what's going to be the guiding light for your masculine. And not only for your masculine, but for other people around you, because that higher frequency is what raises and lifts everything around you up. That higher frequency, it can be so, it's a It's a shift in perspective. It's a shift in mindset, because we believe that in order to love people, we have to be where they are. We have to be suffering like them. I was there myself, and that's not the case. I used to think that I'm going to lose my compassion if I'm not sitting in the darkness with other Lyme patients. But it's because I allowed myself to heal that I can now be more of a resource and more of a help and a support for those Lyme patients. Because now I have people coming to me asking, how did you do it? And I can offer resources, I can offer support without succumbing to that. And I can offer that compassion and say, hey, I've been there too. And even on this journey, I've been there too. Everything we have gone through, everything that you've gone through, the confusion, the pain, the suffering, the dark nights of the soul, I have been there. And so that's why I don't make light of anything. And that's why I never deny anything that you are ever feeling. We don't bypass. We don't deny anything. We don't avoid anything. But we give you the tools and the resources to move through it, because that is how you get through it, by allowing yourself to be in that safety, in that sanctuary of people who support you. And that's why this community has always meant so much to me, and why I've always wanted to create this community, because this community is a sacred space for that healing and for that growth, to evolve beyond the pain and the suffering that we think this journey has to be, or that this journey only is. It's not. So don't feel bad for feeling peace and feeling joy. That joy and that peace is an energy of love, and that love is actually what lifts everything around us. That joy and that love and that peace is who we truly are. And the more of us that allows ourselves to shine that light, it doesn't negate any of the suffering that goes around us. We can hold that compassion. We can have that empathy. And we do naturally. We do naturally have that empathy and that compassion, and we support and we provide as much as we can. But we don't sacrifice that peace and that joy that we have worked so hard to attain. And especially when it comes to counterparts, hold that energy for yourself is what is going to actually catalyze your own counterpart to their journey. Their frequency is going to rise, and that's where they join you. Okay? Okay. That felt very impassioned. Not quite sure everything that I channeled, but we're going to move on. What's going on for the Divine Feminines right now? I wish there was a Divine Feminine card or a feminine card in this deck. I don't think there is, but I feel like that's what it is. That's what it would be. It would be like the masculine and the feminine, the Emperor and the Empress. That's this kind of energy that I'm feeling here. Feminine. What's going on for the feminine, please? What's going on for the feminine? We have beauty. Well, I guess that's as feminine as we could probably get. Beauty. I feel like this is just kind of articulating or validating, confirming what I was sharing. It's this energy of like, don't ignore the beauty of yourself, of the world around you, just because other people are determined to see the pain or the bad or the ugly, right? Hold your light. That's where you've become sovereign. That's where you're anchored into your embodiment, into your spiritual authority. You are the authority of you, your thoughts, your energy, your emotions. You are your own authority. And so keep yourself tuned to the beauty of who you are energetically. We're not speaking physically, we're talking about energetically. Keep yourself tuned to the beauty of who you are, the transformation that you've undergone. You know the journey that you have taken. You know what you have gone through. You know what you have earned, so to speak. You know how you have evolved. Keep that higher frequency. Yeah, you know how you've changed. You know the power it took, the courage it took, the strength it took, and you know the power that you have now within yourself. That power is yours. You've earned that. You've earned that. You've earned through the inner work that you've done. you've earned this peace, this joy, this love that you are feeling. And just because you are feeling that peace and that joy and that love doesn't mean that you are not also aware of suffering and pain. It doesn't have to be either or. We are so quick in our human egos and our human senses to create division, to create separation. There doesn't have to be an either or. There is no separation. You can hold that space. A candle blew out. Don't let your light blow out. It's a good metaphor. That's going to be out for now. It's a good metaphor. Don't let your light blow out. Don't let the world think that you can't shine your light. You're meant to be shining your light. It just might be a shift in perspective. If something isn't working, don't resist it. Try something new. All right. Let's see. I wanted to do something a little bit different, but this is going to be, I might do that next time. I wanted to look at the shadows and the light of what might be going on in this connection, but I think we're going to do that next time. I just want to do a check-in and see what the energies are. How is the Divine Masculine feeling about this experience, about their connection, about their journey? What's going on for the Divine Masculine? Let's go one layer deeper. What's going on for the masculine right now? Towers. Yeah, isn't it interesting? I said I don't feel like it's a tower, but the tower came out, but it feels like this is the other end of the tower. On the other side of a tower is of upheaval, is breakthrough, revelation. The tower is something that comes when you're in deep resistance, when you're holding on to pride, when you're stubborn, when you're holding on to ego, whatever that is. The tower comes through because there's something that has to be shaken, a perspective, a shift in energy, breaking out of a cycle. That's what this tower is. But I feel like we're on the other end of a tower. It's the breakthrough that's occurring now. With this full moon, what they're showing me is there might have been a tower that occurred for this masculine. I'm hearing the Mars-Uranus conjunction. We might still feel the residual effects of that. It could have been June and July is what I'm hearing. So sometime in June and July, there might have been this tower energy that occurred, this shakeup that occurred. And if you remember, we have been channeling June was going to be very pivotal. Important. We were channeling that for 6 months. June was going to be a very intense, pivotal energy. And so that might have been this tower that came in. We even channeled months ago a reading called Towers Create Transcendence. Now we're on the other side of the tower. And on the other side of the tower is revelation, realizations, understandings. It's the energy that is calming. It might still feel intense, but there is an awakening and awareness that's coming through here because of this tower. This tower was a gift. This tower was a blessing. It might not have seen it. Seemed like it at the time. It might not even look like it now. That's where we kept saying, don't look at the physical circumstances as all there is. There's always something going on underneath the surface. If you're looking at something like, oh, I'm in separation, oh, I'm not communicating, oh, I am there's no contact, oh, whatever's going on in your connection, you can look at it as face value, one level, that's the only thing that's happening. Or you can allow yourself to tune into the energy underneath the surface and say, oh, there's healing that's happening within the separation, where maybe we weren't able to heal together. Maybe there was too much intensity. Maybe there was some growth, some evolution that needed to happen during this separation, this perceived separation, this no contact, whatever it's going on. There's always something underneath the surface. There's always movement underneath the surface. Your job is to not look at it as only face value, not look at the data, not look at the evidence, because then you're just going to be perpetuating the same cycle. Your job on this ascension journey is to keep looking at it from that higher perspective, from that soul's perspective. What is actually happening here from the energetic perspective? What is actually going on underneath the surface? And then you do that by tuning in to what do you feel is actually happening. You start trusting your intuition. You start tuning into the energy of things versus what's just happening in the physical. Because what's happening in the physical could be a number of things. There could be job losses. There could be relationship changes. There could be moves, there could be locations, there could be, really difficult, challenging circumstances. But that's just a reflection of energy, right? That's just the external. There's always something underneath. There's an energy underneath that creates all of that. And your job is to look at the energy that creates all of that and see what is actually being shown to you within that energy. There's more. There's always more. So I feel like what's happening is there was a tower being a physical circumstance, a situation, something like that, something that shook up a physical life here, but there's a understanding, a lesson, a reflection, an awareness, an awakening that is coming because of that tower. The masculine is becoming the masculine, the divine masculine, because of this tower. You might not be able to see it, divine feminines, but you have to allow yourself to trust. You have to allow, if you truly believe this is your counterpart, this is your twin, if you believe this is the journey that you've been on, and only you can know for sure, then you have to at some point allow yourself to surrender to your masculine and trust their journey as well. And that doesn't mean waiting for them. That doesn't mean focusing on them. That means living your life so joyfully, regardless of what is happening here. Still holding space and love and support, especially if you're in communication, if you're in a physical relationship with them, trusting your intuition as far as what your guidance is telling you, what you're being guided to do. But still evolving to the best of your capabilities, growing to the best of your capabilities. Your journey will always be one of growth. Your journey will always be one of transformation into that higher frequency and sustaining that higher frequency. Okay? Let me know if that makes sense. All right, what's going on for the divine masculine? Page of Cups. This energy, it's been a while since I've gotten this energy. I'm getting this energy of apologies. There's this energy of remorse, but it's not remorse like Five of Cups remorse. This feels like remorse as in wanting to offer an apology, wanting to offer some kind of an energy of love, wanting to move the connection forward, wanting to heal, wanting to grow, wanting to communicate. Depending on what your situation is, it's going to look a little bit different for everybody, but there is a desire for a new beginning, and that new beginning comes from a recognition of, which comes from the tower, of I can see where I was, who I was. I can see how I behaved, how my actions affected this connection. How my words affected this connection, whatever this is. There's this desire for new movement going forward. I feel like with the Two of Wands, there's still, we've been channeling this. It feels like they want to take action, but they're not quite sure what action to take. There's some strategy that's going on here. There's some thinking about which way to go, which direction to go. But I feel like that's going to be revealed to the masculine. They're going to understand where they're being called to go. I feel like, again, there's a very hermit energy, so this might be happening almost like in private, where they are working on themselves, working on their lives. For some, they might be doing some internal work, shadow work, healing, therapy, counseling, coaching, stuff like that, to better themselves within themselves, like inner energy stuff, inner self-development, personal development stuff. For others, there might be, I'm seeing crossing T's, dotting I's kind of thing, like signing contracts for new jobs or new locations, really putting things into play. Again, it feels almost like there's a wall between the two of you, or like a veil between the two of you. That's more accurate of a way of describing it, because not a wall as in you're blocked or anything like that. Although if you are blocked energy, keep looking within if you feel like there's a block between you. And I'm not talking about a block as in no communication, you're blocked on social media. I'm talking about energetic block. And you'll know by how you're feeling. If the energy is flowing between you two, even if there's no communication, you're not energetically blocked. There's just more that's going on beneath the surface within your journey for your union. So no communication does not mean that you are blocked energetically. No communication does not mean that you're not in union. Remember that union begins within first. Stop looking at the external as a barometer, as a deciding factor of whether or not you're in union or whether or not this is coming together. Stop looking at the external. You can't look at the external anymore. You have to feel within yourself. If the energy is flowing, if love is flowing between you guys, if there's no more resistance, if there's no more resentment, if there's no more pain, if there's forgiveness and love and interactions like that, sometimes you might feel pops of like emotion and resentment and stuff like that, anger or whatever. That's residual stuff. Work through it. It'll alchemize really easily. But I'm talking about overall. If overall your energy towards your counterpart and you're feeling it received from your counterpart is peace and joy and love, then that is union energy that is working in the higher realms, in the 5D. And it will display itself in the external. But don't look at the external as a deciding factor, right? As a determining factor. It doesn't work from the outside in, it's always from the inside out. So that being said, there might be a veil between you guys. You might not know what is going on with your counterpart, except for whatever it is that you're intuiting. You might even feel like you're in a void with your counterpart. You have no idea what you're intuiting. Allow yourself to surrender that. You don't need to know. You need to focus on your life, your transformation, your beauty, the beauty of your life, the joy of your life. Keep focused on that. Keep creating your life. Keep creating. Okay? We have some exercises in the Sacred Union Empowerment session that were really powerful for how to do that, for how to reclaim your power, for how to rewrite your story, for how to really feel into the embodiment of that joy and that peace. So I'll put that link in the description box as well. All of those resources are on my website. But I feel like Divine Masculine is doing the work. It's almost like I'm seeing the Eight of Pentacles. They're doing the work. Yeah, with the Four of Wands, they might be quiet. They might be in this hermit energy. They might be in the surrender. But there is an energy of, I'm hearing, it's almost like tying up loose ends. There's a healing, there's a mending that's happening here. I don't quite know how to articulate this feeling. This feels like a transformation. This feels like an awakening. This feels like an ascension for the masculine. But it doesn't feel intense. It might look intense, but it doesn't feel intense. This feels like the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is a very healing energy. It's a very peaceful energy as well. I feel like this Divine Masculine is learning to discover their own sense of peace and what that actually means. What does love actually mean? They'd had a distorted version of peace and love, and now they're really understanding what that actually means. Divine Feminines, what is going on for you? Three of Swords. Why is the Three of Swords here? Are you getting yourself so caught up in what your masculine is doing? Yeah. This Three of Swords with like thunder clouds behind them, it's almost like you might be getting yourself so caught up in your masculine's journey that it's pulling you from yourself, which is a message that's been coming through this whole reading. And I feel like it's because it's so important. There is so much distortion right now, right? So your job is to really keep clearing your energy. Keep clearing your energy. Keep tuning into yourself. I've shared this with a number of clients. I shared this in the forecast. Pull back from readings. Pull back from social media. Pull back and keep connecting with yourself. That's what your job is right now, because the noise can feel so chaotic, where it feels like it's coming at us from both sides, right? Keep connecting with yourself. Spend time with yourself. Do some self-care routines. Nurture yourself. Ground your energy. Go for hikes. Go for walks. Spend some time in nature. Especially spending some time with water. That's been really a recurring energy. Spend some time in water, whether it's an Epsom salt bath where you're actually nurturing yourself. And I can hear some of you saying, but I don't have time, or this is taking my attention, or this is my energy. Make that time. That's what's really important for you, Divine Feminines, is for you to really honor yourself. Honor your time, respect yourself enough. Stop abandoning yourself. Stop neglecting yourself. And we all have responsibilities, or we're responsible for people, or responsible for things, right? But you're also responsible for yourself, and you cannot neglect yourself anymore. That's what we're talking about, is you can't save somebody to the detriment of yourself. That's only going to drain your energy. You are more useful when you are able to be in that overflow, when you're able to give, because that is you're not feeling drained by giving, right? You have to love yourself enough. I always say this. Something that I learned is, as much as I love the people in my life, and I love the people in my life so fiercely, including my masculine, but I had to learn to love myself just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And as somebody who always sacrificed herself and always took on the responsibility of other people, that was so hard for me to do, to choose myself. But by doing that, by loving myself just a little bit more, it gives me the fuel, the energy to love the people that I love even more, to take care of people and support people even more, because I'm not neglecting myself or abandoning myself anymore. It feels like there's this perpetual heartbreak here. There's perpetual kind of shadow or perpetual storm cloud here that's connected to the masculine that you might be focused on. Your job is to keep looking at the beauty that exists right here, right now, that exists within you. That's why it's been coming forward in every reading. Be proud of yourself. Honor yourself and how far you have come. Acknowledge yourself. Take that time for yourself. It doesn't have to be long. It could be, 30 minutes at the end of the day where you curl up in bed with a book that you want to read, or a movie that you want to watch. Or if you're going out and socializing, maybe you expressing yourself and speaking up and saying, hey, you know what? I really am in the mood for this kind of food. I'd really like to try this restaurant, rather than letting other people decide for you. Speaking up, expressing yourself, honoring yourself, really choosing yourself. And if there is resistance, if there is pushback, then you get to decide what those boundaries are. You get to decide then where it is that you want to go with maybe those relationships or those friendships or those situations. But you have to begin to choose yourself and start loving yourself, to start honoring yourself. That's part of you healing your inner masculine energy. Tell me more about the divine feminine. Yeah, the Empress just came out. That's the balance of the Empress and the Emperor, of the feminine and the masculine. Loving yourself and honoring yourself and holding that space for yourself. Everything we talk about for the masculine also applies for you, divine feminine, because you have both energies within you. You have both the masculine and the feminine energies within you. And before our ascension, we might have swung one way or the other. Out of distortion. We might have gone too much into our masculine and hyper independence and I don't need anybody, or too much into hyper feminine where you were codependent and didn't allow anybody, or didn't allow yourself to stand up for yourself or speak up for yourself. But now your journey is about coming into that union, coming into the balance. And so it's your inner masculine that might be healing at this time, but you don't put the focus on your external masculine. Your twin is part of you. It's another you in another body, not you personality-wise. Your masculine might be very different personality-wise. It's that opposite union of opposites, so to speak, right? Your twin is not going to be exactly like you personality-wise, but they share the same energy, the same frequency, the same soul. And as such, they'll share the same values, and they will have that unconditional love for you. But they are showing you where to have that unconditional love for yourself. It's about that unconditional love for yourself. You yourself need to become the masculine. Now, let me rephrase that. You yourself need to honor the masculine within you. Even as a divine feminine, especially as a divine feminine, to feel into the embodiment of the divine feminine energy is about anchoring in the masculine energy within you so that you feel safe to become the divine feminine. Does that make sense? I'm going to link a whole bunch of stuff in the description box for you guys. This is stuff that we've been talking about since the fall of last year. And I feel like it's really come to the surface now because it is so important now. Because there is union energy here. And I'm not talking union energy as far as relationships, although, that's what's created externally in our human experience. I'm talking about the cosmic effect, the importance of the balancing, the importance of the harmonization of the polarities, the importance of the union. Because what is union? Union is where there is no separation. So it's really important right now to keep honoring both energies within you and to really anchor in and embody the feminine energy within you. You have to anchor in the sacred masculine within you. Okay? And not looking at the external masculine to do that for you. It's within you. Okay. I didn't realize this is going on forever. All right. I feel like we're going to end this here with a little bit of guidance. This was a little bit of an intense reading. I'm not surprised. The energies are intense right now. We began with that. But it's really important. And it's important that we're doing this reading now. Even though these are timeless, it's going to resonate with you when it resonates with you. But with this cosmic support right now, again, the Mars-Uranus conjunction, the Sirius gateway we just had, the full moon in Capricorn, is clearing all this energy. It's pushing us for this change, for this transformation, to really shift our beliefs, our perspectives, and our limitations. And especially as we move into the Lionsgate corridor, that Lionsgate corridor is creation energy. What is it that you want to create? Perpetuating the same cycles, or entering into that new age, that new era, that new evolution of yourself? So really important right now, really important energies right now. We will be back with some hopefully lighter readings and some more how are they feeling about you and all that stuff. I still like doing those, but my job is this. My job is to channel the energies that I channel. And the energies that I'm channeling right now is about ascension, because that is the goal. What is ascension? Ascension is raising the frequency collectively, and that starts from raising the frequency within us. So if you're ready for that, if you're called for that, ready for that transformation, ready to really anchor that in, then you'll be resonating with this, and you are ready for it. You have all that courage, you have all that strength. This journey was never about just your relationship with your counterpart. This journey was about your relationship with you, and how that ripples out to everything around you, recognizing that everything is interconnected. Okay? All right. Masculine. Nothing will come of this situation. Let me get one more, see what that's about. Tell me more about the masculine. I feel like that could be, I feel like that could be for the divine feminine too. Nothing will come of the situation by continuing to focus on the past, the pain, the heartbreak, by perpetuating, right? Nothing will come from that. Make that change. For the divine masculine, we have your dreams need a practical plan. Remember in the beginning we were talking about how there's a new awareness, a new connecting with the intuition. The logical standpoint is still there, and that's where they are trying to make that plan, trying to move things forward, but they're not quite sure how to do that yet. So they're not quite ready for, I want to say, all of the action. They're taking steps, and those steps are actually having a really big energetic impact. So small steps have a really big energetic impact. Don't negate or think that those small steps are nothing. They're big. But it's a preparation is what it feels like. It feels like they are doing little things. And again, it's not little, it's just doing small steps, like maybe personal development or coaching, counseling, whatever, shadow work, or in their physical world, making moves like, resigning from jobs that don't align anymore, or negotiating bigger contracts, or looking for different opportunities, or ending or beginning different relationships that are more in alignment with their soul, ending those karmic contracts, that kind of thing. So there's um there's an energy here of, because their energy is aligning, because their intuition is aligning, there's gonna be more of a guided action, taking a logical approach to that guided action, which is a very masculine thing to do. So I feel like it's not looking at this at face value. Nothing will come of the situation. It's applying. It's again walking the walk. It's applying everything that they're learning, trusting, um, and being guided to, rather than overthinking it, rather than just applying the logic. Let me put it this way. In the past, I might have looked at things just logically. Oh, in order to have abundance, I need to have this kind of job, so I'm making this amount of money, right? Or I need to do this kind of business so that this is the kind of income that I have. Or I need to do this in order for my relationship to be successful. Well, no. That's just the physical way of looking at it, but there's an energetic way of looking at it. To have a successful relationship, you need to be open, communicative, vulnerable, intimate, right? It's more than just material providership. It's more than just what you do, it's who you are and how you are. In order to have abundance, it's more than just working your ass off at a job and making as much money as you can so that you can have those physical goods. Abundance is an energy. It's getting out of that lack energy. So rather than just applying logic to it, they're learning how to apply their intuition. They're learning how to look at things energetically now. So nothing comes from the situation when they're just applying the logic, but now they're learning how to put things into action with both in alignment. They're not quite there yet as far as everything coming together, but they're taking those steps. They're taking those steps now in that alignment. Divine Feminine. What's going on for the Divine Feminine? What kind of guidance do we need, please? Guidance for the Divine Feminine. What do you need to release? Exactly what we're talking about. What is it that you need to release and surrender to the divine? Allow yourself to step out of your comfort zone in order to release that resistance. You might be familiar with the way that your journey has been, but it needs a shift in perspective, a shift in your beliefs, a shift in your self-concept, a shift in the way that you're looking at your journey, and the way that you're looking at your life, the way that you're looking at your masculine, the way that you're looking at yourself. Keep allowing those things to shift and keep going deeper. Especially with this full moon energy, now is the perfect time to allow for that release. And it doesn't have to be a big production. Doesn't have to be a big ceremony. It could just be a conscious decision by saying to higher power, source, please help me to release whatever it is that I need to release so that I can feel peace and joy and love on my journey. So that my journey can be more effortless, so that my journey can be more joyful. Keep helping me to release. You just allow yourself to give it to God, to surrender it to the divine. Allow yourself to make it a conscious decision and feel it. I want to shift this. You feel it and you create it. That is your power. Okay? So, big reading today, deep reading today. Let me know if it resonates. I know there was a lot of really emphatic, passionate messages here, but it's because it's time, and it's because the journey needs you. This collective energy, or global collective, needs you to recognize your love, recognize yourself. Recognize how far you've come already, to honor yourself and love yourself just that much more, to hold that space. And holding that space, again, doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. It doesn't mean waiting. Holding space means being who you are, embodying all that you are, including love and joy. And that higher frequency has a monumental impact on the whole world. You might not be able to see the whole ripple effect and how it all plays out, but everything is interconnected. Everything is interconnected. And so you holding that space and holding that higher frequency and loving yourself, that love has a ripple effect on everything. That is unity consciousness. All right, I am sending you all so much love and so much light, and we'll be back with more updates coming soon.